On Monday, May 1, 2023, a tragic incident occurred on a northbound F train in Manhattan, New York City. Jordan Neely, a 30-year-old homeless man who was known for impersonating Michael Jackson on subway lines, was killed by another subway rider who put him in a chokehold. According to witnesses, Neely had been acting hostile and erratic before the attack took place. Video footage captured by freelance journalist Juan Alberto Vasquez showed Neely writhing and trying to free himself from the arms and legs of other subway riders who were pinning him down. As the minutes ticked by, Neely visibly weakened as the arm wrapped around his neck stayed tight. After he stopped moving, the riders held him down for about 50 more seconds before he was later pronounced dead at a nearby hospital. The video footage lasted for 4 minutes, and it has sparked outrage and calls for justice. The man who put Neely in the chokehold has not been arrested or charged with a crime. This has raised questions about how such cases are processed by New York's legal system and has angered many left-leaning politicians and activists who have called the process racist. They have asked why the subway rider, who appeared to be white, was not kept in custody and argued that if he were black, he would have been. Law enforcement officials say the specific sequence of events and the laws that may come into play make any potential criminal case more complex than the video would suggest. Mr. Neely, a black man, had been screaming at passengers when the other rider put him in a chokehold for several minutes until he went limp. He died from compression to his neck as a result of the chokehold, according to a spokeswoman for the medical examiner, who ruled his death a homicide on Wednesday. That ruling means that the other passenger killed Mr. Neely, but is not a finding of legal culpability. Governor Kathy Hochul of New York called the video of Mr. Neely's death horrific and said, "There have to be consequences." She added that it became very clear he was not going to cause harm to these other people. The video of 3 individuals holding him down until the last breath was snuffed out of him, I would say was a very extreme response. The man who choked Neely is a former Marine who has not been identified. He is being represented by Razor and Kenneth, a Manhattan law firm whose founding partners were both in the armed services. Thomas Kenneth, who was the Republican candidate for Manhattan District Attorney in 2021, said that the firm had been in contact with the district attorney's office and the police department about the incident but did not have any further comment. If he is charged by the Manhattan District Attorney, Alvin L. Bragg, the man who applied the chokehold would most likely argue that the force he used against Neely was justified. Prosecutors would have to prove that he used deadly force without having believed that Neely was also using deadly force or was about to. And in order to show those things in court, prosecutors would need to have interviewed every one of the many witnesses to the encounter, to make sure that none of them would say something that would hurt the prosecutor's case. Prosecutors do not typically bring cases unless they believe they can win them. Since Neely's death was ruled a homicide by the New York City medical examiner, there have been protests calling for justice. Demonstrators have taken to the subway system to call for an arrest in this case. The death of Jordan Neely has sparked a national conversation about police brutality, racial injustice, and the need for accountability in law enforcement.